Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you in this frigid weather that the whole world's having?
I know, I'm doing really good. I was just saying I stayed in Charleston a couple days longer, and I'm glad that I did because Kentucky got 8 inches of snow. So I'm hoping it'll be melted before I drive back this weekend.
Yeah, to some degree, a little bit of snow would be nice, but I want it to go away and warm up like in 2 days.
I know. Is it cold in Texas?
It is, yes. Low. I want to say maybe 20 something. The high is going to be 46.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
That's really cold for us.
Yeah.
But a girl I know on Facebook today said it was 20 in Arizona, so I'm not feeling so bad.
Oh my gosh, it's supposed to be 65 here today and 71 this weekend, but it has been cold. The last 2 days were in the 40s.
Yeah. So today we decided, Dana, to talk about kindness, how to really put kindness on our forefront this year. I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like the whole world is a little angry, a little edgy,
Yeah.
a little rude, a little judgmental and critical.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, even if we all just did a little bit of kindness, maybe we would remind the world what it feels like, and that we all need to figure out all of our differences and get along. I always think kids have the best examples. They just hug on each other and they love on each other, and not that they don't fight, because they do, but to watch them just be open to other kids until they learn to be mean and rude and all those things. I was taking Amelia and Addie to school with Press last weekend. They walk into the school and they just join hands with the person next to them and walk to class. And, I don't know, it just reminded me that I just feel like we just need to be reminded that to be kind. I always tell my grandkids when I drop them off at school, hey, remember, be kind to everyone. And just because I feel like we're in such a world where people are like, if you don't have the political views I do, then, we got to hate each other. Or if you not the same religion, then we got to hate each other. I don't know. It just feels like, and I think we got enough heaviness. I mean, with the new COVID surge, I feel like everybody I know has sick family members, and it just, after about, what are we on our 3rd year? It gets a little heavy. So I thought we could kind of, let's tell our tribe to spread some kindness.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's funny that you said that about the girls, because Chris and Caitlin and Graham came over for dinner one night this week. And Graham said, I said, did you have a good day at school? And he said, yeah. And then he said, oh, I can't think of her name. Crap, it started with a D. It kind of sounded like Dana, but it was something different. But whatever it was. He said, so-and-so, but she hit me today. And I said, she did. And then he got real kind of like mopey. And he said, yeah. And he said, I said, well, what'd you do? And he said, nothing. And then my brother said, well, this is the 3rd time it's happened. So of course I told him he's going to have to hit back. And Caitlin's like, he's not hitting a girl. Stop. What's wrong with you? And then I said, well, did you tell your teacher? And he said, no, we went to the happy corner or something like that.
Maybe we should have an adult happy corner.
That's right. And so it made me laugh because I was thinking, so anyway, I said, what'd you do? But then he said, well, we hugged. And I said, okay, well, that's good then.
That's sweet. And you know what? They were over it in 2 minutes, right? Even
On
if they
to the
do,
next.
hit each other or have something that goes on, they're over it in 2 minutes. And I just feel like we can't seem to get over it, whatever it is, that's out there.
Yeah. Well, when you said you thought it'd be a good idea to do one on kindness, and then that morning this thing popped up, and so I was going to read it really fast. I just think it's so good. But it said, as the world fights to figure everything out, I'll be holding doors for strangers, letting people cut in front of me in traffic, saying good morning, keeping babies entertained in grocery lines, stopping to talk to someone who looks lonely, tipping very generously, waving at police, sharing food, giving children a thumbs up, being patient with sales clerks, smiling at passerbyers, buying a stranger a cup of coffee. Why? Because I will not stand to live in a world where love is invisible. Join me in showing kindness, understanding, and judging a lot less. Be kind to a stranger. Give grace to a friend who's having a bad day. Be forgiving with yourself. If you can't find kindness, just be kindness. And I was like, God, that's so good.
So good. So she must be feeling the same thing that we're both feeling out there, that heaviness of
Yeah.
just people forgetting how to be kind to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have like some ways, or what were your thoughts on it about being a kinder human?
Well, I think it's as simple as some of the things that she said, just saying please and thank you, and you know some of the like appreciating people in the military, appreciating law enforcement, people appreciating the nurses that are just really overworked, and I don't know how they're not emotionally hanging on by a thread at this point. It can go as far as doing something specifically for a group. We were at dinner. I guess we had just gotten back from Dayton, so it was right after Christmas. Maybe it was New Year's. Okay. And we got up to leave. We are always the ones that do this, but somebody had paid our bill. It's like weird, which I knew the girl that had done it, but it's like, it was kind of a shock, normally,
Yeah.
mainly a shock because normally we're the ones that do it. We find somebody in the restaurant that we know, and we'll say, hey, they paid their bill. Can we pay their bill?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was just, and I just thought about how it made me feel. First of all, it was hard. It was awkward and hard.
Yeah.
And I had to let myself accept it and take it, because I think sometimes accepting is just as hard as even harder than giving. Right.
I totally agree with that.
I had to immediately, but like I always say with my formula, relationship plus validity plus filling someone's value gap over time is really how you recruit someone or do whatever. I thought about that because part of what we teach in there is just to be kind and to give, and don't worry about what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was a great feeling, but it was real hard to accept because I'm used to being the one that we do that. And so I had to just stop myself for a moment and say, you know what, just appreciate that there is kindness out there and that someone else in the world cares about being kind. But, I think right now, the things that come to my mind is, every restaurant is understaffed. I don't really know, where are the people that work?
Figure that out either.
We're trying to figure this out. Are they getting money from the government? I don't know if they are or not. Are they just deciding who needs to eat? The heck with eating and paying my bills. I don't know. Now right now, I think a lot of it is, well, my sister went to a restaurant the other day and half of the restaurant was closed off. And when her son knew the manager, when she asked him, she said, man, Randy, we can't get any help. She said they either got COVID, been around someone with COVID, whatever. And so I don't know if it could be true because it's so rampant right now, or is it excuses but I think we had a problem even before this surge of COVID. So I'm sitting around trying to figure out, what are people doing that they don't need to have a job? I don't really understand that. So my thought was, the people that do show up and do work, be super extra kind to them. Yes. Tip more. Let them make more money because they are showing up and doing twice the work. Send a nice thank you. Even as simple as when someone does something kind for you, to acknowledge it, not necessarily, I've always heard you're not supposed to say thank you for certain things, but like I've noticed I've done things for people, not that I want the recognition or anything, but I just want to know they got it. Like I might mail something to somebody. Let them know you got it and what that meant. What you showing any kind of kindness meant. Again, it may be awkward because I've noticed everything. When I get something, I feel awkward first. I feel uncomfortable. Someone is giving me something. So I got to work through that. I got to figure that out on my own. But I'm just saying.
I'm the same way with that.
Think about what does that make you feel like when someone is so thoughtful and they think of you, and be sure and let them know that you got whatever it is, like a note or and what it meant, because I think that helps people. Because I think for a long time, we just started taking kindness for granted.
I totally agree.
And so the more I've thought about this topic as we decided we were going to do it, I've just said, really, it's not major things. It's just always, like I tell my grandkids, be kind to everyone, and where you can give and help. Yes. But I think it's just a compliment, or a conversation. What are you thinking? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
I think asking people, I always think about what Oprah says, the world she's discovered in all of her interviews wants to be understood, not interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
So, asking people, what do you think? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? I think just that I think I've told this before, but remember years ago when we had that speaker at family reunion that said, have you ever asked somebody how they are and wished you hadn't? Because they like go into this long thing about how terrible everything is, And so he always said, he says, what you do is if you've got a person like that in your life, what you do is you say, hey, tell me something good. So I've tried that with a few people that I knew if I ask, how are you? I might be like here next week listening to how bad everything is. But I think, we're in times right now where I think some people might be struggling and we might just need to build in the extra bit of time just to ask, how are you? And be ready to listen, and I don't know. It just feels like a temperament of, and do you have the neighborhood app, whatever that app is in your neighborhood?
Oh yeah. I'm blanking on it, but yes, we have it. Everybody goes to town on it all the time.
I had to stop listening to it because it was so much complaining
my
about.
mom said the same thing. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on that. But anyway, yeah.
I think it's called Neighborhood. Is it Ring? It has to do with your ring in your neighborhood. I don't know what it is. It's on my phone because Jimmy put it there. But but everybody, they were doing so much complaining about each other, and everything was negative that I thought
next door. Yes.
Door. Thank you, Kate.
God, thank you, Kate. Yes, I was like right on the tip. I was thinking next neighbor and I was like, no, I know that's not right.
And I was thinking neighborhood, but yeah. So I just, I don't know. I think maybe just doing whatever part we can do to put some positivity and reminding people how far kindness can go, even small things of kindness can go. I don't have any major things. I'm not saying buy everybody's dinner every time you see it, but we did I don't know, it's been it actually might've been right when COVID started or they hadn't shut down all the restaurants, but we were at a restaurant and there was a couple and she had been in real estate and I think she still was, but maybe she had been with our company and she went somewhere else. Which, always is the thing that drives, sends me over the top normally. Cause I'm like, well, how could you go somewhere else?
Yep.
However, I remembered to just be kind and be thoughtful. She's making her decisions based on what she thinks best for her. Then when we got to hearing his story, he had such a health issue that they couldn't get figured out. And so it made me realize, you just don't know what people are going through. And so I remember, we called the waiter over and paid for their dinner because they were struggling so bad, right? It's like, man, you don't even know if he's going to be able to work anymore, do whatever. So I don't know. I think once we start looking for the opportunities, they're going to be big and they're going to be small.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get the call on your heart to say, this is the one I'm supposed to step into, or this is the one I can step into. And I think we all, especially over Christmas, we all think about our charities and giving to things like that. But I'm talking about on just a street level of looking at another person that's making your coffee, that's doing whatever, and instead of just rushing by, just stop and ask or pray, what do I need to do or say to this person? What words of kindness might I give them that would just really make a difference?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was really just trying to think of when we were talking about kindness, and like two things kind of came to mind, and it was be aware and then be intentional. And I caught myself this week. I think, sometimes you have more stuff going on in your life, and then other times it's like, man, everything just like hits you all at one time. And I was driving just across the street, but this lady pulled out in front of me, and I mean, I was like ready to fight her in the parking lot. I like laid on my horn and was like waving my hands, like, get over. And I didn't even get one light up. And Adam was
right beside you.
Yep. I got like one light up, and then I was like, and something just hit me, and I was like, why? Like, that was not nice. Like, why did I even act like that? And then Adam was like, well, look at the week you've had. And I was like, okay, that's kind of true. And so then I was thinking, you know what? We do need to be aware, because a lot of times when like things pile up or like hit you all at one time or whatever, I feel like it's easier to not be kind because you're just, for whatever reason, pissed off at the world, or I don't know, or everything else is like happening and going on. And so I caught myself instantly and I was like, man, that's not me. I should not be like that. But then actually, Adam was so funny. And I meant to text you this actually, and I forgot to. But he sent me this meme and you can't see it, but it's this guy and he's like taking off the sweater and he said, I avoid stuff because I'm scared of me, not you. My temper will go from 0 to prison real fast.
That's so true. And I think that's
so true.
Have right now. And it's funny. A lot of times in the past when Jimmy has like wanted to ride somebody's butt or honk at him out the way or whatever, which he's not normally like that either. But I will say to him, hey, now, Jim, that could be someone's teenage driver.
Yeah. Or I think it's a grandma. And
or
then
that's
and I'm like, great, they're 100. Great.
Yeah. Or look, that could be someone's grandma. And it'll usually diffuse him real quick. And it'll change his whole demeanor of, hurry up and get out of my way or whatever. And then also I was thinking, really honestly, and I've heard this so many times, but when you're having the worst day or the worst time, that is the best time to put the focus on somebody else. You know what I mean? To immediately say, I'm having a sucky day. How can I reach out and be kind to someone else?
Yeah, totally.
Because I think you're exactly right. My temper can go from 0 to 110 in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Especially if I feel like somebody's wasting my time or taking advantage.
Yeah.
Either one. So I have to really train myself to say, you know what, Linda, is that really true? Or is that your perception of what's happening? Because I'll get angry and, fight back. I mean, I got a little bit of fighter spirit. I mean, I think that's from growing up, scrapping with my brothers and just, hey, I mean, our first instinct was just to go right back at somebody. We get a whipping if we went home, didn't fight back. That's how stupid our family was. It's like, they beat the tire out of you. Well, what'd you do? You didn't beat the tire out of them. Well, you get back up there to school and you whip them.
Well, Nancy on our team who runs all our offices finances, she called me yesterday and she's like, I just have to tell you this funny story, which I'll try to tell it without telling it. But she said in an office, an agent was upset about something and came in this was in Ohio, and grabbed the arm of our MCA. And Nancy said I just told her, you are lucky that didn't happen in the Kentucky office. She's like, or she would have not been in a good situation. But we were talking about that because she called me and she's like, I just cannot believe that she was not kind. Like, it just absolutely blew my mind. So that's why I was thinking, like, one, I think we as humans need to be aware of what's happening in our lives and like, how is our attitude and when is the last time we've been kind, or are we getting irritated with like little easy stuff, like somebody pulling out in front of you, or a stupid, something on social media that you saw or that you read or whatever it is. And then 2, being intentional with the kindness, which that goes back to all the stuff you said about paying for somebody's coffee behind you in Starbucks, or whatever, dinner or whatever it is, or just sending a handwritten note. Like, I got the nicest note that somehow came to Adam's office. I don't even know how. And I guess it had been sitting here for a month, which now, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hate that, because I like to let people know when I got something. And it completely just changed like my whole mood for the day 2 days ago. And I was like, man, that was so kind of her. And then what it did was, so my third point I had was kindness spreads. So like, you know what I mean? When people are being kind to you and you're seeing it happen all around you, it like ripples. It makes you want to do more. It makes other people want to do more. And the fact that this girl, Emily, took time to write me the super sweet note that when I don't even know her, honestly, then I was like, man, who can I write a note to today that I can give them, like, have them experience that feeling too?
Yeah, because I think people are so emotionally drained right now. I know in our offices, honestly, I've thought about bringing in like a therapist or somebody who can just sit and listen to people. Because I know in the real estate business, our agents are just emotionally exhausted. I mean, it's the number one issue. We're doing our ALC retreat here at our house next week. And my team leader was saying, I said, what's the number one thing they want to help with? And she said, balance. Honestly,
balance and burnout have been ours.
Balance and burnout. And so it really, I mean, you kind of do have to think. I think it's not a coffee or a dinner as much as it is an ear.
Yeah.
Just hear me. Just hear me where I am and what I'm going through. And, our industry is, you know, been blessed in a lot of ways with all this stuff. And I can't even imagine what firemen and nurses and
Yeah.
policemen and all those people are exhausted from emotionally watching so many bad things happen. So I don't know. It's really made me rethink what is really needed right now. Is it just to be kind and listen to what's going on in someone's life? I was reading a great book. I mean, I'm the only mother I know that still reads adult kids books, about, you know what I mean? What was it? It was so good because I realize now I'm like, I want to reverse and go back about 30 years for when my kids were little from reading it. Oh, I know what it was. I read whatever it's really weird. If my daughter-in-law tells me she's reading a book, I'll read the book too, because I want to be on the same page and
Yeah.
whatever. And my daughter's the same way. So whatever I hear she's reading, I'll read also. So Anna's reading one called, and I do believe parenting books work so well with adults also.
Yeah.
It's called How to Talk So Kids Will Listen.
Oh yeah. I've heard
I
of that.
was so convicted reading that book, Dana, because you're probably like me. I want to solve people's problems. I don't
Yeah.
want to just listen to, and it talked about how, well, first of all, exactly what you just said to Graham. Don't
Mhm.
immediately ask, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
Let him talk it out,
Talk it
right?
out.
And then there was another piece that talked about, and I remember Bailey said to this to me when she was grown one time. We were sitting in the sauna. Sauna is a very difficult place for us because we get in deep conversations and it either ends with us storming out of the sauna or something different. But anyway, we're in there and she said, Mom, I don't want to hear what you would do or something like that. I don't want you and Dad to tell me what I should do.
To solve it, just listen. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want you to listen. To me is way harder because one of my things I pride myself with is I can listen to someone's challenge or opportunity or whatever, and I can see the solution so clearly.
Totally. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if that's not what they're wanting. And so this book is really good. It's called How to Talk So Kids Will Listen. And I'm loving it because I think it would work for our agents. It'll work for anybody you lead, and it talks about the words to use so that you're very careful and you're not criticizing how they feel or all the things that I would probably just naturally do. Cause I want to just, okay, we got the problem. Let's just solve it real quick,
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a great book. And that I was listening to that the other day, and it really made me think that maybe this is the same kind of stuff we could use with some of our agents who are struggling and people in our lives who are really struggling with the pain that's going on in their life with just, I mean, I think about myself, I'm pretty emotionally strong. And I've had moments where I've had to go, man, I don't know what I'd do right now if I wasn't exercising and, sitting in my sauna and just decompressing in a way to get rid of some of this. I am so tired of every time I turn around, people are shut down with COVID. You think to go do something and you go, well, do I really want to do that with all those people? Jimmy had COVID for the second time. My friend and her husband have it right now. I mean, my church group have it right now. I mean, it's just like, it feels like it's everywhere and it just won't go away. And so I think you really have to guard your mind. And so I just think we should start just a challenge of how can we just be kind in little simple ways and try to smother out all this darkness and meanness and critical and judgmental and division that we have. And I think even if it just helps a little, it's worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It makes me think of the guy that I loved who we listened to in Nashville, Bill Haslam, who wrote that book, Faithful Presence, who was like this governor or senator. I don't know. I mess all those up.
He was governor.
Governor of Tennessee. But I loved when he said, he was specifically talking about politics, but I think it could be anything, when he said, the parties aren't going to solve it and the media is not going to solve it. And so the only way to solve it is if people of faith would just go out and be who they're supposed to be. And I kind of feel the same way about kindness. Like if we would just go out and be the people that we're supposed to be, it would probably ripple and we could continue to do it. And I'll never forget this. For some reason, I just needed to hear it. But when he said, always remember the other fellow might be right. Mm-hmm. And I thought, God, that's so true. You know, I don't know. It just really hit me. But I think even that with kindness it's the same thing. It's very relevant.
Yeah, so true. Well, as we wrap up, Dana, is there any final thoughts or ideas or things that you've really, really touched you when someone was kind to you, or anything you'd leave everybody with on, let's just be a little kinder to everybody and see if we can just add some kind of different vibe in the world than we're feeling right now?
Yeah, I think that. And I just think that not everybody's going to have a perfect 365 days where you're in a great mood and you're kind to every single person that you come in contact with. But if you're just aware of, are you being more kind, or you can't even think of the last time you've been kind to somebody, like that to me is just a starting point for awareness around it.
Yeah. And I think the tendency is when other people are mean or angry or not loyal, or is to say the whole world is bad and this is terrible. But I think instead what you do is just say, I just still believe, I still believe that the people that do the best, the companies that do the best, the marriages that do the best, the businesses that do the best are all the people who have good basic principles of kindness, love, all of those things. And so instead of joining the crowd, just say, I still believe that with all my heart. Yes, it feels harder, it feels meaner, it feels all those things, but I still believe in the end, love will always win, kindness will always win, and all of those things. So I would say my advice would be, remember, just be kind to everyone. You just don't know what that person's been through. And it could be somebody's grandma.
Yeah, very true.
Very true. All right. Well, listen, if you have a challenge, an opportunity, or just a topic you'd like for Dana and I to discuss this year, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And if you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button below. And we would love, the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is a 5-star review so that other people find our podcast. And we just want to say, remember, be kind to everyone. Thanks, Dana. See you next week.
See you next time.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.